Do you? How do? Beautiful lords and ladies of the nerdom. This is This Week in Gaming for March 8th. Manny Roman with me as always. Man, go lax for anime.
Short week this week. Not huge news, but this is the big news today.
The multiverse coming to fruition. Or the metaverse.
Oh, yeah.
I still forget which one it is. I think it's the metaverse, actually, but I'm just silly. Anyways, back with us again for the last story of the week is Sir Cass Nims.
I thought we agreed it was Lord Cass Nims at this point.
Well, you don't have the land yet, so we're just gonna pretend. We're just gonna pretend you're knighted in England. I'm gonna give you more clout than you actually have, sir.
Fair enough. I'll take it. Whatever I can get at this point, you know. And you were right, by the way. It is the metaverse. Epic Games is metaverse, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Expanding every day.
Virtual concerts are just the beginning, bro. They're gonna start playing football games in Fortnite.
Oh, jeez.
So this week, to kind of piggyback off that, our last story of the week, Epic Games continues making big moves by acquiring Fall Guys developer Mediatonic. They stated that with the acquisition, they do not currently have plans to make the game free to play as they did with Rocket League when they acquired Psyonix, and they have said that the model is going to stay fairly similar since there is a pretty similar model to Fortnite and Rocket League.
Oh man, Epic Games is they are the Disney of video games right now.
They print money, bro. They print money. It's insane.
Like, if it wasn't for someone like Riot Games, who I know has like their own capital, I would say Epic Games will own everything at some point. They will probably own everything at some point outside of like sport games like EA games, and then League of Legends and Valorant, it feels like at this point.
I completely agree, but I'm just like, I mean, it's insane because now that, you know, this is starting to become a trend and they're expanding their metaverse, you know, like buying all these larger companies that spit out all these very popular games, you know, but like, I'm curious as to, you know, what this is going to do for the future of games. Like, who's going to compete with them in the gaming culture? You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, Microsoft is setting themselves up best to do that. Game Pass has Ubisoft games on it and EA games on it. They have three streaming services in one. They have the largest user base on a gaming streaming service, from what I can imagine. I mean, there's really no great competitor out there. The Stadia's dying. And Ubisoft and EA clearly aren't as big as them because they literally like, yeah, add our stuff to your stuff. Let's do it. So Microsoft is setting themselves up best to compete. Like, here's the thing: Valve like was running things ever. Like, once they made Steam, they were running everything. You know, they were the first online like PC gaming store that really like was commonplace for people. But where they kind of missed out on like more potential growth is where Epic has been excelling. They said, you know, why stop at just that? Let's keep making cool games. Let's keep bringing in these like awesome developers and just supporting their games more and just helping us to grow more so that we can keep getting more assets.
Yeah, exactly. And I am curious as to what's going to be brought, you know, around the different games now, because we were talking, you know, before the show that Fall Guys was already incorporating a lot of media into their own games. I mean, obviously Fortnite and Disney with the Marvel and Star Wars and, you know, the different concerts that they have going on. Now they have Rocket League as of 2019, I want to say, you know, and they mixing different things into Rocket League now, and now Fall Guys. I mean, Fall Guys was super popular. I think it fell off a little bit. I haven't been keeping up with it. I haven't played it in such a long time, but this might be a little bit of a revival. But now you have the opportunity to still keep those partnerships with like Disney and, you know, different concerts and whatever, and incorporating that into Fall Guys, which was already doing that. I mean, they have different, you know, Valve skins from Portal to Half-Life to Doom.
And then they had that massive charity auction that they did for a costume where they raised like over $1 million.
Yeah, it's
I remember
insane, and it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's such a good, it's becoming such a good outlet for other developers to work with each other and such. And I think that this acquisition of the parent company of Fall Guys is just gonna be like it's over the moon, you know, right? Like it's just gonna keep adding on and on and on and on until they just all games become one at this point, you know?
Yeah. Everything's just gonna become part of the metaverse, man. But I'm curious where they're gonna look to next, you know, because they've been scooping up these huge like games as a service games, Rocket League, Fall Guys. They have Fortnite. So I'm curious where they're gonna go from there, because they're doing it, you know, they're doing the right thing and going after like these, and it's gonna sound like they're like pouncing on them like prey in the wilderness, but it's really not. It's that they're going after like these indie developers that have these big games. So I'm curious what their next, where they'd be looking to next.
I know exactly where. I know how to save Halo.
Oh goodness, no. Because like if you think about it, they've been keeping like a trend, right? Like you go from Fortnite, it's just this bright, colorful, you know, like obviously it's a battle royale and tensions can be high, but it's like a fun kind of exciting game, you know, that's like bright. I don't want to say it's also children oriented, right? But it has a visual appeal to it. And it's the same thing with Fall Guys. Like it's a simple game that's just bright, colorful. It's a good time, you know. Rocket League, I mean, obviously you guys know there's a massive skill cap in Fortnite and Rocket League, you know. Fall Guys, I don't know about skill cap or luck and some of the maps, and that was a complete different discussion that we had in this show, you know. But it just seems to be keeping on pace with like the colorful, more children oriented, and I just don't think Halo really cuts that, you know. So
and it would be very, very surprising to see Microsoft give up the rights to Halo. I don't think they could ever do that.
That as well. Yeah.
One game I thought of, but I don't know if the studio would ever get rid of the game at this point, was Genshin Impact.
And see
but
that I
that
can
game,
definitely see.
But that game is doing so insanely well. I don't know if they even feel like they would want to get rid of it at that point. Like there was I just saw today that game has made $850 million in 5 months.
That is
honestly,
nuts.
it's those packs, dude. I can't. I was tempted to put some money into it. Like it's a free to play, and I started playing it on release, and I put probably around 30 hours into it, you know. But it is kind of like it's kind of a pay to win, right? Like there's like an end game. I mean, the currency system's crazy because it all works off gacha, but like to get better characters, you can put money into it and get better characters to make the game easier. So it's like I can definitely see how they get a lot of money, because like it's a fun game, you know. But at the time, you know, like I don't like putting in money for pay to win games, but they did it. It's super successful, and they made a pretty good product.
It just hit me, guys. It just hit me. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Inner Sloth, Among Us.
And that's what I was more thinking.
Yeah.
Imagine how much they could do with that game with the assets that Epic has.
Oh yeah.
Because right now it's like 4 people in like some place in Washington State
Exactly.
making this game. Imagine if they had the resources that Epic has. Imagine how much they could do to that game and how much quicker they could get things done for that game.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see Valheim at this point, but it's the same thing. It's like those games are super successful where they are right now, so I don't know if they're going to want to give up those the rights to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that, like the team behind Valheim, super small, they spit out a $20 game, and I've put so many hours into it. It's still like it's lacking. I mean, you could still fit more to do, but for half, like it's less than a gigabyte download, and I've put like 80 hours into that game. It's so well done, but it's by a tiny team. I couldn't imagine them being bought by Epic and just having the amount of people and finances to be able to just shove into that game. It instantly #1 game of the year. I mean, they already sold 5 million copies this month. Like,
yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah,
it's insane. So, I mean, that being said, I kind of hope they get bought out. I kind of don't, because what they did was right. And if Epic Games did it and they still left them in charge of it for their own product, their own baby at this point, I'd love it.
Which I that's kind of been their MO, is that they, like, if you look at Rocket League, Psyonix still runs and develops Rocket League. Yeah, they changed a couple things with adding the store like Fortnite has and things like that, but everything else is the same about the game. They really changed like one thing about the game and it was literally just to stop third-party trading and make the profit strictly go to them.
Wait,
so
did the blueprints and keys shift when they were bought out?
So it's changed now to where you basically have to buy, like, you have the blueprints, but you have to buy to unlock the blueprints.
Right.
You don't just get items anymore unless you buy them from the shop directly.
Right.
Or you buy them through the blueprints. So there's really no, and they did a bunch of changes to the trading to where third-party like trading keys, and the trading keys, if I remember right, does not exist anymore. It's just items and blueprints, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry about them changing anything fundamentally with any potential game from a studio they try to buy out. It's just fun to think about, where are they going to go next? I think Fall Guys not Fall Guys. I think Among Us would be a fun one, just because that community and their presence on social media and stuff is already really like fun and out there. I feel like, I don't know, I just think it'd be really fun.
And it's still being played too. I mean, Brandy, I don't know how, like, because I stopped with Among Us after the first month. I played it for like 2 weeks or something, and I lost it. But Brandy kept on it. She's still watching YouTubers play it all the time, and they're bigger names like Valkyrie and Sykkuno. Like they're still playing it. They're still enjoying it, and what are they on? Do they have 3 maps or 4 now for Among Us?
I don't know if the 4th one has come out yet. I think
Gotcha.
I think it has not by now.
But even that, like you get a giant team like working on those, you could spit out another 5 maps, in one go, right? So it's like, I feel like they could bring back the popularity that Among Us was, because it's still being held on by some people, So things like that. I'm looking forward to the future and seeing where this leads other companies to do, keep the trend going.
Awesome. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our talk about Epic Games acquiring Mediatonic, the developers of Fall Guy. And that's going to wrap up this week in gaming. Shorter week this week. I struggled to find stuff that I felt like we could talk about this week. There was a ton going on. But hopefully we have some fun stuff for you guys next week. As always, for those of you listening on your favorite podcasting service, remember to follow or subscribe to us. For those of you watching VOD on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think about Epic Games acquiring Mediatonic, who they might try to acquire next. Is it going to be Innersloth? Are we just making these things up and just blowing smoke? Maybe, but if it happened, it would be kind of cool, just saying. And if you want to check out all things Nerd Chambers, go to our website, thenerdchambers.com. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week.